Hello, how are you? Welcome back. I have a short story to tell today. It's Wednesday as I'm recording this, but on Saturday just gone, I had a bash in a local abandoned gravel quarry with two of my friends, Stuart and Scott. Now, Stuart has appeared in the last couple of years, so for long-term subscribers may remember him. He had his car and stuff, and we took it and the Outlaw for a bash at my old place in a sand and gravel quarry, which was still active but closed for the day. That was the same guy that I gave the free Tamiya touring car to after a subscriber called David Young very kindly donated it to the channel. So Stuart was there with his car and stuff. Also Scott was there, but he doesn't have an off-road RC, so he borrowed the Triton, and I took the Outlaw. Now, before we get to the Outlaw, which is the focus of this video, let's talk about the Triton for a moment. We didn't treat it gently because it's the Triton and because it can take it.
What's the silver side? Front pinch, Tamiya front pinch. Yes! Can you make it back though? The tree away. You son of a... I need to have a run up there. I'm scared.
You just need to do it as casual as anything, because that's what happened last time.
Yeah, I know. I was like, come here.
Can send it.
It's fine.
Not quite.
It's fine though.
Yeah, this thing took a kicking. As you can see here, the body shell is completely split through in several places. This has been, and there's stones coming out. This has been reinforced with shoe goo and drywall tape, or whatever you want to call it. But even that wasn't enough, because we do treat it really, really badly. Because it can take it. It's a great, great truck, but it was a bit of a handful. Got rear wheel drive, very short wheelbase, loads of power, and yeah, it wasn't really brilliant to drive, but it was good fun. So what about the Outlaw? Well, regulars to this channel will know that this Outlaw has been an absolute lemon of a truck. So problematic. It has broken almost as many times as I've actually used it, no exaggeration. And I've tried to make it more robust, stronger. So, metal chassis, because the plastic one broke, and I've just noticed that screw's coming out. Metal arms, because the plastic one's broke. Metal prop shaft, because the plastic one broke. Metal sway bar links, now not because the plastic one's broke, but because I was trying to take away a lot of the slop. The plastic links had loads of slop, and it was taken away from the actual sway ability because it was being absorbed by the slop in the plastic, if that makes sense. I also have the sway bar kit for the Carnage on the front. You see the Zorro front bumper. The battery is mounted right here, longitudinally on the top deck. Try to reduce the centre of gravity. Spray wheel's gone. To compensate for the more weight in the nose now, these are Thunder Tiger front springs. So yeah, I've been trying to make it better to drive and stronger. I did for a while run it on HPI monster truck wheels and tires to try and increase the track width, make it less prone to rollovers, so these are notorious for. And it did help a little bit. Problem is, there's less tire sidewall on the monster truck wheels, and it was more choppy. The ride was way too choppy because you need the flex in the sidewall. It's a very softly sprung truck. You want it to be able to absorb the bumps and everything, and as it floated over bumps, these, or the standard tires rather, would tend to conform and all the rest of it. There's lots of movement in the tire wall. The monster truck wheels had none of that, so the ride was way too choppy. So got rid of them, back to the standard ones. But there's a problem with FTX wheels and tires in that the foam inserts are garbage. It's a thing with FTX wheels and tires. The foams just disintegrate, and so after a while, the standard wheels and tires, even though I had the sway bar kits and everything going on, it was rolling over probably more than ever, and it's because the tires were no longer supported by the foams, the inner foams, and they were tucking under the wheel and just flipping the truck over. So if you imagine, if you're taking a very hard left corner, the right side loads up, and that tire will squish and squish and squish, but there'll be no support, and it'll just tuck under, flip, over it goes. So I wanted to solve that. So I fitted these granite Fast Tracks granite wheel and tire set. Word of warning, these Fast Tracks wheels and tires are not a direct fit on the FTX Outlaw. And you see how they're deep dish? It means they're essentially negative offset wheels. The mounting point for the wheel is further in towards the truck, not central to the wheel itself. So if you try and bolt it on the Outlaw, they bolt on the back, perfect, no problems whatsoever. You bolt it on the front and it binds up because you need a little bit more clearance. So ideally what you want is wider hexes. I believe 6mm hexes, which is what I've ordered, will cure this completely. So you want to use these tires, these wheels, 6mm hexes. What I've done is I've just simply used this. This is a 2mm hex spacer, which spaces out the hex enough for the front to clear. Like I say, the back's fine anyway, but I don't recommend you use hex spacers because that reduces the amount of contact between the actual drive hex and the inner wheel hex, which can cause the inner wheel one to strip. So try and avoid that as you can. I was just using it as a test because I didn't have any, and we wanted the trucks to be ready for the bash at the abandoned gravel quarry. So with a new set of boots on, and I actually had to straighten the sway bar as well, the rear sway bar, because it was all bent out of shape. But you know, how did it get on? I was fully expecting it to break straight away, and you can see here it had some use. The roof is no longer flat, it's completely bowed in. You can see there's a hole in the shell there and bits smashed off here, and some of these are not surface scratches, that is a crack all the way through. Same, I mean, the bonnet is terrible. Look at this. This is my newly painted body shell, by the way. This is very, very new. I did it this year. The bonnet's in pieces. Cracks around this mount point here. Crack behind this headlight's completely cracked through. Side of it's a mess. Look at that. Complete mess. Splits all the way there. Cracked all the way through here. Cracked several places down this way. So, yes, crack around the cage there too. So yeah, as you can see, it was on its roof several times. It's had a few impacts. It's not a pretty sight. It was a pretty sight before the bash, but it certainly isn't anymore. But miraculously, even though there is one screw working its way loose in the chassis there, it's fine. Can you believe it? It's absolutely fine. There's nothing broken. There's no hairline cracks in anything. Okay, the rear axle is a little bent nowadays, look at that. As are the two front drive shafts. They're wobbling them too. But they're original. I've had this truck for a few years and it's been brushless the entire time. So that's just beginning to wear out, that's all that is really. It's a bit like almost a consumable part. It shouldn't really be, but you know what I mean. But yes, it's actually survived a bash. And you know what, on top of that, it was the best truck there on the day. It really was. And I know the Triton was tougher. The Triton we put through its paces more, and we sort of did ridiculous jumps and stuff with it because the Triton can take it, because you know the Triton can take it. You trust the Triton to take it. But it couldn't put its power down. It was constantly wheeling all the time. And okay, I did put a lot of power into it, but we're having drag races on this loose gravel surface. Stuart's Carnstad's just overgeared. It's a Carnage with Bugsteel wheels, hence the name Carnstad. It's probably needing to drop at least 3 or 4 teeth on the pinion. It just doesn't have that get up and go. It got mullered on the drag racing by this, and it didn't usually even beat the Triton, even though the Triton was constantly like half throttle. You couldn't put the power down because then it would just flip over or whatever. So it was a bit boring because it was overgeared, and also it stripped the spur, which is a classic Carnage platform problem. But this just gripped and ripped. It was awesome. It won every single drag race, every single one of them, and it was the best at hill climbing. And yes, it's a solid rear axle. They don't handle that well, but if you knew the limitations, you could get it sliding out, correcting the steering as you're going. It was an absolute riot. It was by far and away the best truck there that day, by far and away. And Stuart even went, oh, he's talking about fixing his Carnstad, lowering the gearing and replacing it with RW Racing spur and pinion to make them stronger. But at the same time, he was like, oh, I need to get myself one of these. I'm like, I can't really recommend that from the experience I've had, but I'll admit, on the day, if you're an onlooker, could look at this and go, yeah, that was the best truck. Definitely. And honestly, up until very recently, I honestly didn't think I was going to keep this because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't trust it ever, and when I did use it, I didn't enjoy it because it was rolling over all the time or it would break. But on that gravel quarry with these modifications and these wheels and tyres, what a truck. It was brilliant. And now I actually like having it in my fleet. Might have been a fluke. We don't know. It might have been a fluke. But we'll try again once we tighten that screw underneath. I'm going to check through all of it actually to make sure nothing else worked its way loose. But wow, it was the most fun I've had with an RC for ages. Really, really, really good fun. So, well done, Outlaw. You finally earned your place in the fleet. Maybe. Miracles can happen. Right then, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. Bye bye.